Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Just another fun-filled day of talking reality. That's what it comes down to. Doc talks reality, and very few financial channels do. They just spin, sell, and spin again. So let's take a look at it. Hey, Robin. Ready, Freddy. What do we got going on here today? You can see there's the dollar index. Went into the daily sell there yesterday, and today it is up. Okay, so it is pushing up. Let's put it up on put it up on the other platform and take a peek at it from there too at the same time. Right there, and now you will see it too. Right there, you see it's the second day in a sell, but it's higher today than it was yesterday. So. It's back to that, it's again that wonderful dance about to cut or not to cut. It's almost like listening to Shakespeare. To be or not to be. To cut or not to cut. Now we got GDP coming out, I believe it's tomorrow, which I'm hearing from some trusted sources, who do great math and figure out this stuff in a comprehensive way. They're looking for like 3.25, 3.5 on the GDP. The expectations are 2.9. And then on Friday we have this PCE, and that's those same calculating people are saying that the inflation will heat up a little bit more. So it'll be. It'll be like, wow, GDP is exploding where the economy is growing. And this is what you get for $7 trillion. Should get something, maybe a little goodie bag after the party. Robin says, if you would like Doc to review anything, market, just ask. I love that. I really miss questions. I really wish there were more questions. But, that's the way it is, Some people just want to watch, and that's okay. There's voyeurs. I'm into voyeuring. I like to watch. And then sometimes I will speak and give a response, when I'm watching a particular webinar. In this case here, I'm doing the webinar. But anyway, there's Janos. How about Tesla? Yeah, I know. Isn't that cool? They're down 9% in earnings, but... remember I was telling you that the analysts were really looking for not the earnings and so forth. They were looking for when they're going to start putting out those robocabs, Also, I understand those energy storage facilities. They're selling them like hotcakes, and they're bringing in some good money on that too. So, but let's take a look at it. Let's see. Tesla. Oh, what's this? Let's see what the Swiss. Let's see what it says here on Tesla. You put up. Tesla stock jumps after Q1 results. I like that. Oh, let me see if I can get that up on the screen here. Too. Let me do that. Let's get it up on the screen here. I like that. Excellent. Let's see. Dukascopy. Trading. Dukascopy. There it is. And let's put it up on the screen there. There it is, like so.
Want to become a certified project manager but aren't sure about the skills you need? The PMP certification prep course I did. Want to become a certified project manager but aren't sure about the skills you need? The PMP certification prep course I did. Want to become a certified project manager but aren't sure about the skills you need? The PMP certification prep course I did.
The marketplace was looking to see what they were going to do. The marketplace was looking to see what they were going to do. The marketplace was looking to see what they were going to do. The marketplace was looking to see what they were going to do. The marketplace was looking to see what they were going to do. The marketplace was looking to put some sound out into it? Let me just double check. Because I hear some noise. Oh yeah, I hear it. Okay, so let's get that on the screen. Sound out into it? Let me just double check. There we go. I hear some noise. Oh yeah, I hear it. Okay, so let's get that out there. There we go. So yeah, that's interesting. The Tesla move. Now, what he did is he came out in the conference call and said that not only are they going to get those robo cars out over the maybe at the end of this quarter or definitely going into the next quarter, but they may come out with 2 models that are cheaper. Now that's relative, of course, that Al Einstein thing. But I think the Y and the 3 models, we'll see in the end. But that's why Wall Street popped it up. Let's put it up on the screen. Let's get it up on our screen. Let's see. Open Sesame. Right there. Here it comes. We're in a weekly sell here. It'll pop up on the screen now. We're in a weekly sell in this product to begin with, and you can see it right there. But we closed in a daily buy yesterday from it. Or no, I'm sorry, on Monday? No, yesterday was the 23rd. Okay. And today's the 24th. So they're still ripping it up. I guess that's what it is. And you can see we're still in that weekly sell. And we've been in the weekly sell since the 175 area. Or is that 180? What is that right there? That's 180. So in that 180-ish area, we went into the weekly sell. I would imagine, here we are in the 60. It's probably like a Fibonacci thing, it'll do its bounces and so forth. But I would say that, Tesla is such an enigma. They're a rocket company, but the rockets are not connected to the car company, but there's always been talk about putting it connected together as one big, like a General Motors type of thing in the end. We have 5 or 6 or 7 car companies all combined together, connected. And his rocket company, his car company, his internet company, and I'm trying to think what else. I guess they call it SpaceX. And then Twitter, maybe he'll put Twitter into it. I don't know. Anything's possible. He's got a lot of assets there. It's hard to say at any particular point. It trades very high, but so does the Magnificent 7 or the Magnificent 5 or whatever they call it at this point. These tech companies always have a natural tendency to trade, 25, 30 times their earnings because you don't know. I mean, like Nevada is a perfect example. It was a $5 stock. Now it's an $800 stock. It's, when you have a product, there are actual slang words, slang, let's see. You think, what is a slang word? Like they say, like homie, when they talk about somebody that lives in the city. They call them, hey homie, hey brother, that type of thing. They're slang words, okay? Well, in option trading in the listed market, there are some option spread slangs that match up to IBM, International Business Machines, which was one of the darlings of the tech universe at one time. And they used to say sell the 50s and or sell the 80s and buy a Mercedes. And what that was is you would sell the 80 calls, a short, and there was easy to make money as far as people were concerned. And then one day they come out with the RAM chip, the random access memory chip. The RAM chip out of nowhere. Okay, I mean people knew it was, and the stock jumps to 200, and people that are in the 80s got slaughtered. So then they started talking about strangles, selling the wings, and the stock did it again. It turned around and doubled again. So in other words, these tech companies have all the potential. Digital equipment, perfect example of it. Digital equipment for years traded at $200 a share. People wanted to short the thing. It had no earnings. They kept on saying this is ridiculous. You got to short this thing. You got to sell it. And the smart money said, no, you don't. And the end result, they are the backbone to Wi-Fi. Okay, the home Wi-Fi network and the professional network. And then as time went on, they got bought by Compaq Computer, and then Compaq Computer got bought by Cisco Systems. Cisco Systems is a networking system and Wi-Fi. So in other words, sometimes it takes years, like 3, 4, 5, 10, I don't know, years to get to fruition, to why people are not willing to sell it, because they know that the day that they don't own it, all of a sudden it makes the jump. So they have to stay invested, and they keep these stocks up at high multiples when they don't deserve to, because their earnings, the classic fundamentals, and that is the rationale to all this. So sometimes daily data, like in other words, fundamentals of a company are not why the stock is where it's at. It's where money thinks it's going to be, maybe a year down the road or 2 years down the road, and they're never willing to really sell it. So, Tesla drives, where did it get down to? Was it the $40 area? Yeah, 140 right in here. And specifically, think about it. With the earnings coming out, it was selling down. It sold down from the 170s. We went into the sell at the 170 day. Or was that 160? 160. Okay. Now that was where it settled, 160 that day. It started off at 170. Okay. We dropped underneath the histogram. Let's widen this out. It's a perfect example for the characteristics of our mathematics, and truly to any technical analysis people do, that type of thing in general. So it goes into the below the zero line here, but we're a green and a red. Okay, and then the next day, it goes into the sell. It's got the little red dotted line up on this side of the screen that day, and then by the end of the day here, of course we're in a sell, and it slides down $20 over a 5-day period. And then, the day before, it starts to perk up again. The day before, or the day of the news, it gets into the buy. And sure enough, they open it down a little bit, and then they take it up again, that type of thing. Is that? Yeah, that's 24. This is 23. That's 22. Exactly. So, that's where it's at right now. Why? Not because of the 9% drop in earnings, because obviously it should be going the other way. It's because they just don't know when the one of the areas, like not counting that, they have what that's traveling thing, the tube system. I mean, he's got a bunch of little projects going on. You don't know which one is igniting money, saying we want to be there. In other words, we want to be invested. We're not sure. Also, imagine he's at Category 4 now. I think it is Category 5. There are robo cars, taxi cabs, without drivers. Was it in Arizona? They have them going right now. With the Tesla cars. So. When you look at earnings, sometimes you have to also look at what the company is up to and where the profits will come next, and that's probably what's in their heads. Combination of, he said that they don't even have to build new factories to do the projects that they're talking about that should be started by the end of this quarter. In other words, the end of the quarter of this year. So going into November, they may have some of those product lines actually running, or the first quarter of next year, he said, So, you're talking about now, you're only talking 6 months out, 7 months out. So why, when people are selling this stock, they've given opportunity for other longs to get involved. Yep, and that is really what it comes down to. All right, I hope I got that point across. Does that make sense? That's the way money works in the financial markets. They don't look just at today. They look at everything. All right. From there, we jump over to, let's see where else we go. I guess it was here. Let's go take a look at, back to the dollar. Let's go back to the dollar. That's right. Unless someone wants to see something, we'll go back to the dollar. right there. See, it was easy. Janos said Tesla. We went to Tesla. You don't have to do a song and a dance. Just put a symbol up on the chat line. All right. So from there, you can see, it's trying to lift up again, and we have compared it to the 30-year bond. Let's see, where is it at? 30-year bond is right there. And we're at the bottom end of that channel, range, flag, whatever you want to call it. We're there, and it's been in the daily sell for four days now. Yeah, 4 days, and we're in a weekly sell for 4 weeks. The chances of a cut look very slim. And like I said, I know smart money right now is looking at it and saying they think they're going to see a 3.25 or 3.5 on GDP. The Richmond Fed says 2.9, and I'm sure that the Dukascopy's calendar probably has the 2.9. That's what pretty much most people think, which is a good number for GDP. But when you spent $7 trillion over the last 3 years that we don't have, in other words, we've had to borrow it. The economy should be perking along, but sooner or later you got to pay it back. If anybody wants to pretend out there that you're not going to pay back money that you borrowed, you're kidding yourself. We're going to have to pay that back, and that's the problem. Is that obviously the people in the administration right now don't care because they're not interested in paying it back. They're just interested in spending it, and that's the way they play it out. So. Now, from there, we go over to, let's put it up, the euro this morning. Euro on the wall. There we are. And there's the euro. You see, it's doing the same thing as the dollar in obviously the reverse direction. So it's in a daily buy for the last 6 days, and it's in a weekly sell. It's trapped in that area where, not a specific area per se, it's trapped in its actions. Markets are really having a hard time getting going. Mr. Trump came out yesterday and said, that the Chinese yuan and the Japanese yen are being manipulated. And so, his economic instincts are really on target all the time. And you won't hear anything like that from Mr. Biden. He's not even sure what a currency is to begin with, except for long as it's green dollars that they're paying him. He's a funny boy. But that's the only way he knows about a currency is it's got to be in dollars and someone sends it to him. Mr. I don't pay taxes on my spare change money. So you see here that the euro, it's trying to bounce. You see the weekly's got a nice curve. Right here, where's it? Right there's a nice curve there. It's trying to get rolling along upside on the weekly. It's starting to pierce the fast-moving algo, and the histogram is actually inside the manifold at this point. So that's pretty good right there. Maybe next week we might see a buy, but with the as I said in one of these webinars, that the markets are very sensitive to the politics right now. We're going through a lot of action here. A lot of I guess you call it action. Market purchasing. Buying markets, selling, buying and selling stocks is very, very sensitive to the politics at this point. So the bigger question will be in, I guess, 6 months. It'll be November by then, I guess. So May, July, June, August, September, October. Yep. So we're right on that edge. We're like just a little over 6 months, or not calendar months, but time-wise, because the election's November 5th. So it's basically at the beginning of November, and here we are at the end of April. So we're really in that fat 6+ month zone to the election. And that's where we stand. The markets are going to be just as choppy. It's going to take major news to really break them out of this particular trading range. And I would imagine you'll see it, go down, make a made a low, Now it's going to try to rally up a little bit. It could go sideways. I would think that option decay will kick in more and more. Today we have, I believe it is, we have something like the Dow is down. It's been up about 6 points. Now it's down 64 points. At the same time, the Russell is down 8 points. The S&P 500 is, last I looked, it was up. Where's that at? The tape just moved again. I see the DAX is up 17. Crude oil is down like a quarter. Gold is down $10. In other words, the nervousness that was going on. S&Ps are up seven full points. Nasdaq is up 107 points. So we're seeing a cross match of the blue stocks. Now let me just show you this. I'm not sure if let's try it this way. Open. Let's show you the Dow Jones Industrial Average, because I believe it's threatening the weekly buy at this point even. As it fills in. Yeah, let's see here. There it is right there. No, it's not the weekly, it's the daily. It's been in a daily buy for 3 days since here. Right there. And we'll see how this week ends. We're on Wednesday now. If they stay up in this area, this weekly's going to start to firm more and more and more. And next week, they could be looking at it. Now, we've had some interesting indicators telling us that we're flirting with some, buying. I think we got another new wave signal somewhere. Let me just double check. I'm almost sure of it. Let me look on one of my screens here. But I'm almost sure we got a new wave signal last weekend. I thought I did. Let me just double check. I don't see it on my chart there, but we'll see in a few seconds. We can look it up. I wanted to say that you can see here that the Dow gave us a new wave signal at the top of this action. That's what this is right there. Right there, gave us a new wave signal there. Now, it does that, and then it broke down. We went into sell, and we started heading for this weekly sell and so forth. When we get those things, they're like a frequency situation, which has changed dramatically. It's changed, not dramatically, but just a change in frequency, and it does that. Let me go find the data for last week. I could have sworn it. One of them did. I want to say that the Dow did it again. So and you can see the week before the Dow Utilities and the Nasdaq did to complete this bottom even. Let's see, Microlab, there it is. And let's go find what I'm mumbling about here. There we go. There it is. Okay, so last week the frequency did not shift. Let's see. There's the Dow. 91, 41, 18, 05. No, it didn't. Okay. And then the utilities didn't either. Okay, so we didn't see a change in the frequency. Let me just check the Nasdaq. Yeah, no, we didn't see a change in the frequency. So so that was the week before. Now, if we get a new wave signal this week, that'll be even more of a suggestion we're coming into some type of bottoming pattern. And that's what has my eye at the moment. You can see here, this triangle that was developed through the what we do is we develop. This is based off of the inside days and outside days. That's why the lines are there. So it's inside days and outside days, and we put trend lines to those. And that's what these extension lines, these trend lines are all about. In this case here, it generated a flag going into last week, at the close of last week. You can see it jumped on Monday above the flag and has been up ever since, and we're in a daily buy. Now we just need to see this weekly start to shift gears in that. Remember, we're coming into May, and the old class. There's another, good old classic, and that is, sell in May and go away. So, there'll be, maybe we've seen the May selling already in April. And it's action in March and April. Let's close that. There we go. All right, now from there, let's see. We were looking at the dollar index. We're looking at euros at this point. So we're through with the dollar, and let's go to the euro. Nope, that's the intraday. There's the intraday euro. Kind of sloppy and quiet there. Right there. So it's down, but still in the buy. Now let's go take a look at. It's down, but in the daily buy and weekly sell, and you're seeing the same action in the British pound. There's the British pound, and it's climbing into. Did it climb into the buy yesterday? I guess it did. So we'll go like that. I'll have to double check that. I'm going to move that line in a few seconds, and we'll see. No, the answer to that is nope. It did. It's at 0.00010 on plot 1. Plot 4 was at 0.00020. Okay, so it did. It closed in a buy last night like that. And so we're seeing same pressure. It's trying to lift, and at the same time we're watching the dollar try to drift down. And the key word there is try. What is it what's that Fed word that I came up with yesterday that they've been talking about in the Fed, which will become loud like the way transitory was? What did they call it? Expectedly? I don't know. I had that yesterday. I thought I put it in the chat line. Let me go look on the chat line yesterday for the title. Because I could have sworn I put it in there. It was the new buzzword by the Fed. I want to say expectingly, but no, it's not expectingly. Let's see. There, eventually. That's it. Eventually is Fed's word. It's the new word for the Fed. Eventually. So eventually, we will go into the weekly buy in the euro, in the British pound, eventually. And again, eventually we'll go into a weekly sell too. I mean, you can't even make this stuff up anymore when it comes to eventually. Yeah, I was gonna say you can't even make this stuff up anymore. They're just flat out crazy. Where do you get that ad? Which ad is that? We have it in Echo now. You can hear an ad in the Echo? No, that was when I put your Tesla article up. That's what it was. So, holy hell. I read a guy I know state that it is the start of a 100% recovery. That's not that bad. Look, there's so much capital on the sidelines. They're paid to buy to begin with. Eventually. Yep, that's it, exactly. Eventually. I have to laugh. I mean, it's like transitory. So is eventually is not a bullish word or a bearish word. It's just like an action that will happen eventually. You come. Are we there yet? No. Eventually we'll be there. It's like it's and they keep on inventing these strange things. It's classic in the money business. Real highfalutin. Snotty, up-nose types come up with soft language. Like, who would call inflation sticky, right? It's inflation. It hurts. It's not sticky. Sticky is like when you're eating a lollipop or ice cream and you get a little on your finger and it's sticky, but it's sweet and you want to lick it. No. Inflation is not sticky. But only in the financial world, where they like to make everything sound nice and fair and intelligent, they come up with these words. And so the Fed, let's put it this way. For a long while, the hedge funds for 5 or 6, maybe even 7 months were saying the same thing. Oh, inflation's transitory. They weren't saying it's going up and ripping our eyeballs out. They were saying, oh, yeah, it's transitory. Yeah, of course it's transitory. Only in the financial industry would they would play games like this. This is why I like doing Dukascopy. You guys don't create that mess. You just report it. And so it's who would come up with stupid things like that? Only dumb money. So when it comes down to when you said you read somebody that this is going to be a 100% recovery. You're not talking about a big number to begin with. The market has only gone down 5, 6%, 3%, 4%. I think at one point the NASDAQ or the Tech 100 was down 8%. No, that's not hard to make back. I mean, since October, the overall stock market is up 28%. So when you lose 8% out of 28, it's not much to cry about. There's no crying in trading. Let's see now. So, Tesla. Oh, yes, you asked on Tesla. I think Tesla's going to go back up. Is it going to do it? Let's put it this way. Eventually, Tesla will go back up. Right now, the math says no. This is just a dead cat bounce. Let's go back to that real quick. Yeah, see here, it went into the buys. This is just a dead cat bounce. More than likely, we'll hesitate in here, go back down, challenge around again, see if it makes a higher low. The weekly's got to get into a buy. Let's shrink this down like that. You see here, when we went into the weekly sell at 260, 250, 260, 250 area right here, it was up in the 260s. Goes into a weekly sell. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. We went into a buy 1 day from the bounce, or 1 week for the bounce, and the following week we were back in the sell again. So it tried to bounce. It was in a daily buy from there. It went into the weekly buy that week. It went up for 3 or 4 more days, and then we went into a sell. Then it went back into a buy. I think the buy is right there because that's the weekend right there. The next day it went back into a sell again right there. And we went into the weekly sell. What is that? That's the 180 area, 180 something area. What does that say on the box? 180.74. Okay, so it goes into the weekly sell there and daily sell and goes down again. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. The math itself is the safest thing to pay attention to. And it's been in that sell ever since. It doesn't let go. So, we went down to 140 from the 180 on a weekly sell. And now it's trying to turn. Let's let it turn. Let's let it do its business. Let's not. We have another saying on the old trading floors. There's no cheering in trading. Yeah. So in other words, don't cheer for something. Just trade it. Wait for it to do it. So, let the math do its job. And then, go with it. Now, we can go back and look further again. Went into the buy in the weekly buy back in, what was that date? 11/24, back in November in the 232 area. And it went to 265 for a high. So it went up 30 some odd dollars over a 4 or 5 week period. So, just most of the time, when you balance it out with the dailies and the weeklies, the odds are going to be very heavily in your favor. You are the casino. You're not playing at the casino. That's what it comes down to. All righty. Let's go over to where we got next to go. Oh, we're back in the currencies again. Let's go back to the currencies. Let's take a look at the Swiss. There's the Swiss. Swiss is inching its way up a little bit more. I'm not worried about it. I don't think we're going to see 101. And you can see the weekly is still dancing along very happily on the upside. And when it gets into that weekly sell, then we will be a bear. And right now we're a bull on dollars and short the Swissies. Then we go over to the, we talk about it here. They call it the $20 trillion carry trade, and I guess it is. And Mr. Trump came out yesterday afternoon talking about that and the Chinese yuan, how they're manipulated, and that they're not supposed to do that. I don't know. I don't know in its parameter of how they consider manipulation or not. I mean, I just don't. They don't tell us what makes it manipulated. They just tell us it is manipulated. Well, how, when you got the Federal Reserve printing money out of thin air, who's is that the pot calling the kettle black or something like? I mean, you know what I mean? It's one of those sayings. It's like, wait a minute, isn't America manipulating things also? It's like that's what the market system is some form of manipulation back and forth, I guess. In other words, supply and demand manipulation. So, in other words, right now, the yen is going up, but the Bank of Japan said they don't want it above 152. So what is it? We're now playing with the 155 area. So, I wish they would say a little bit more than that. Biden won't say anything about it. His Secretary of Treasury won't say anything about it. But at least, Trump is actually saying he sees the manipulation. Because that Mnuchin would come out. That's another thing, too. When Trump was president, they came out with a report every quarter on who was manipulating their their currency, and who was not. And so, you had an idea where their heads were at. So, now we don't know anything. They just do things without telling anybody. All right. From there, what do we get from there? We go over to the great experiment, the Turkish lira against the euro. As you can see there, we're 2 days in a buy. Let's steal this red right there. Went into the sell one day again, and then binga banga banga, went right back into the buy right there the next day. And we're in that weekly buy, and boy, every time it looks like it's trying to get into the weekly sell, it don't. Now you got the fast algo right there, trying to climb into above the zero line. And if this thing, at first of this week, it really started to turn up. It looked like it was going to challenge the weekly sell. Here we are Wednesday, and you can see the product is down near the line. It's very close, but so far holding on. All right. Now from there we go over to the South African Rand. Ooh, they're really playing with that top end of the range. This whole move right here tells you that they wanted to be weak. Wanted the metals weak. And sure enough, they're weak. Let's throw it up on J4X. Oh, no, that's right, not J4X. Over to the beta. Can't get the J4X going right now. They don't answer me. They have. They told me, this should work, and it doesn't work. It's like there's no more remedy than that. But I think that's an American thing, why I can't get the J4X. I got it on there one day, and then it stops. So it's like every time I try to do it again, it doesn't want to let me in. So it might be due to the fact I'm on the continent here. There's gold. You can see it on the beta. Gold's trying to lift up a little bit, but last I looked, it was down 9. So is that yesterday or is that today? That is. There's yesterday. That's yesterday right there. So that's today. So this is saying it's up for the day. Now let's go over here. That may be the wrong contract because we're looking at the June gold contract at the moment. June. Right there. Yeah, see, that doesn't look right. Right there, we have it trading at, oops, put it up on the screen so you can see it too. What to do, what to do, what to do. See, that's the June contract, and I get a funny feeling, haha, funny, that we're looking at on the beta. I think we're looking at the, let's see where it is. I'm going to just double check it. On the beta, we're looking at it's not the June contract. I think it's, what does it say its price is? It says it's at 23.36. And yeah, that could be the June contract. Yep, that is the June contract. Why is it screwy like that? Huh. You can see here on the bigger platform, it's been in the sell now for 1 to 5, a fifth day now. It's and then when we go back over to the South African Rand, you can see that long sloping action we've been seeing for a while now. And that's not, it's the intraday. Right there, telling us that they were going to sell the gold, and sure enough, they've sold the gold. That's what they've done. They have sold the gold. Now, not big, and I would imagine just in general, the frustration with the world economy, the frustration with the conflicts in the Middle East, all that stuff forces people to want to at least hold on to more metals for a while. But obviously they've started to, it's really clear in our face. It's eventually going down. That's what it says. It's eventually going down, and it is. All right. From there, let's go back to the chat line too. Anything on the chat line? No. Okay. So from there, we jump over to silver. And silver is in the sell also, pressing down for the last 3 days. And, it's in that weekly buy also, but the fast has dropped through the 0 line right there. And, in the daily sell here, but, the histogram and the green line are not even remotely close at this point. They're not even interested in going down into the sell side of things. I think there's more buyers out there than anything else, and I think the Tesla is going to find its way up towards 70 or something like that. You could, I guess the best way, let me just do this. Let's go back to Tesla for a second. I just thought of something there. So we know 265 is the high, and we know 240 is the 140 is the low. So we're probably looking at least 170 again to get back up to the 170 area. Then we'll see if it plays with the 187. I imagine it'll be really hard to get through the 70s. I have my doubts we'll see 187, not until the end of the year type of thing. So I would think that will be, the probably the nature of it all. Do I think we're going to break that 140? I kind of doubt it. I think they'll try to hold above it. I think buyers will start to come back in dollar cost average. I mean, when you can buy Tesla, it was at 265 and now it's at 140 over it's like a 44% discount. That's pretty good. You probably want to jump in and if you're a Tesla buyer, of course. Yeah. All right. Let's do this. And there is silver. Now let's look at platinum, which I find incredibly dangerous. It just keeps on sliding down. I don't know how anybody can short this thing. Only central banks would be foolish enough to short it. I can't imagine anybody else doing it. All right, now from there we'll go over to the copper. Notice how the grains and the metals have been flying around of late. Right there's the May copper. Lifting up. It only went into a sell yesterday, but it's in a weekly buy. So with it in the weekly buy, you just hedge what little you need to do to protect the possible downdraft. And we'll see for the next couple of days if we get another push on the downside or they slide back into the buy and you try to play that for a while. And then we go over to the energy sector. Let's put crude oil up on our big platform. There's crude. Crude looking pretty firm. Yesterday it tried to get into the buy. Today it is in the buy, but we're going into a weekly sell too at the same time, so it's not exactly like I want to run towards it. And there's no doubt that it has a look to me, and it should, it should be firm. I'd imagine. Summer season coming on, driving, all that stuff. All the things that make, make these things make them go up and down in value, and that would fit in my head. That would be it right there. So I would think, between the conflicts and the other noise that's going on in the world, I would think that would be the place where the oil would sit around in this area. I know that there's talk that he's taking it out of he was supposed to put oil back. Who he is Mr. Biden. The president was supposed to start he took about 35-40% of our national reserves and put it into the stock of the overall market. In other words, they put it into the oil market to keep oil prices down at the time. And he's supposed to start buying it back at 70 or 65, something like that, but it hasn't gone down there. And so now he's talking about selling more. So they don't really understand the supply and demand situation. So it really confuses them. They're not sure how to interpret these things. But the end result is that you can see their oil is trying to, get into its buy, and we'll see how they dance around it. But that is the path that they're on at this point in time. All right, from there, let's go over to crude oil on the beta, right there, and right there. There we are. You can see it's pressing up, and it's in a daily buy for a couple days. And let's take a look at the weekly on that thing. The weekly is still in a buy, not flirting into the sell like on our big platform. And then from there, we'll go to Brent and look at the Brent oil. And there's Brent. Went into a buy yesterday. Obviously, it's up today in a green dot, so more than likely it's in a buy again today. And we're still in the weekly buy. And that's what I'm saying, is I can't imagine them selling these markets down. And I know they're trying to manipulate them and press them down. Our price per liter or gallon has gone up about 20% over the last, or let's say 15% over the last couple weeks. So, it's not going down. With the price of the natural oil itself in a barrel going sideways, our cost of fuel itself for the put them in our vehicles, machines, is going up, and up. And so there's Brent, and that is crude oil. And let's look at nat gas. Nat gas also another one that's in the buy, but today they're pressing it down. You can see that there. So 4 days in a buy, and this is not turning into be the fifth day yet. So we'll see. And the weekly's just hanging on again by the chin. So that is that market. Eventually, I like that. Eventually. All right, let's go over to Spain, get a flavor of what is going on price-wise with the energy market in Spain and Europe. And I'm surprised that we got up into the 24s. Ooh, let's see, that looks like it's pushed up again. Yep, it's hanging out in the 23s again. And, it's the high 23s. This is the only way we can measure the energy in Europe. I know Giannis has talked about trying to get a futures contract on it, but so far they've not been able to get it done. And that's where we are now. I guess, Giannis has made it very clear. They're not very free to do all the financial things that need to be done. They want you to buy a car, but they don't want you to... More than likely, they probably don't even want you to buy the car. They probably want you to take the train or the bus. And hence, that's why there's no insurance in the financing side. They make it hard for them to use options. So, you know, you're not. You can drive the car, but you have to pay insurance to drive the car. But you are not allowed to have insurance on your investments. That's a drag. All right, we're going to go over to the stock markets of the world now and get a flavor of what's going on there. Let's take a look at the Nikkei. There's the Nikkei up for a second day in a buy, and the weekly is still in a sell. The Kospi, I think it's the opposite action. It's a third day in a buy, and 4 weeks in a sell. Then we go to the Taipei index. As you can see there, ooh, it's jumping all over the place. Ooh, look at that. Nice big spike today. It's been in a sell for weeks. Couple weeks of sell. Same thing here. There's the third week. We're in the third week right now, and it's trying to turn up out of nowhere. Look at that. Nice big move. So we've been in a sell there for a while. From there, we'll go over to the Nifty 50, see what they're doing in India. It's here somewhere. I've seen it. NEI, right? There it is. And there's the Nifty 50. And it's in a buy for three full days, going on a fourth day, but it's trying to get into the sell as you see right there. It's got a red dot and all. So it's trying to get into the sell. The All Ordinaries right there. 3 good solid days in a buy. Let's see what the weekly looks on like that. In a sell, though. Then we drift over to the Hong Kong market and the Chinese market. There's the Hong Kong market. It's trying to lift for a third day, it looks like, but it's in weekly sells, as you can see down in here. But you can see for 3 full days in a buy. Then let's see what the HSI in Singapore is doing. And that is in a buy for 6 days now. It's been a nice move from the 16,000, basically 50 area to the 17,200 area. Almost 1,100 points, if not a little bit more. And then let's see what the VIX is doing. VIX is, moving down now for a 4th day. I think that's today right there, isn't it? Yeah. So it's been pressing down for 4 days. Had a little spike there and then rolled over. Now, what do I call today? Let's just take a couple more stock indices. Let's look at the DAX right there. Last I looked, it was up, and it still is, and this is going on a 3rd day in a buy. But the weekly is not shifted yet. We're watching that weekly. We need the weekly to get going to trust these markets, Then let's look at the Paris index and see the same thing. 5 full days in a buy, 3 weeks in a sell. In other words, it doesn't know if it wants to come or go. Then there's the FTSE out of London. It's 4 solid days in a buy, heading towards all-time highs again. And the weekly, I think, is in a buy, right? Yeah, it's been a weekly buy for 9 full weeks. And then we'll jump over to the three major indexes, and we'll get out of here. There's the S&P 500. Oh, wait a minute, there you go. You read permanent VIX is up and down since yesterday's noon. Yeah, I just put it up there too. Let's put it back up again. Where's that VIX at? You vixen, you. Where's that vixen, the VIX? There it is. Yeah, it was that Friday they did a real panic move. After that, it's been down for days now. And it's been in a sell for the 5th. This is the 5th day in a sell. We'll wait and see what the weekly does. See when it pushes into the south side. Guess we got to cut them up with a title today. We worn down the Fed one. So, what can we say about the markets today? Base building. I think it's a base building market today. That's what it looks like to me. Base. Markets working on building a base. I like that. Because that's what it looks like it's doing. Working on base building. There we go. And I think that's a good title to it today too. Because you can tell, I mean, we've got the NASDAQ up 100 and some odd points. Let's just show you the US market and then we'll get out of here. So there's the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is definitely battling its way. It's in a buy from yesterday. So it's on the second day going up, but its weekly is in a sell. Then you have over here the S&P 500. It's 3 full days in a buy, going on a 4th day. And it's got to work on its weekly. So that's where the problem is, that they need to get the longer term money. Yes, here's the S&P 500, a second day on a buy. Yeah, but it needs weekly buying. That's what it comes down to. All right, VIX is up and down more yesterday. Yep, exactly. All right, so this is Doc from North America talking to truth. Follow the money. We follow the money with our technical analysis, and we keep it true. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders. Catch you tomorrow. Tomorrow's what, Thursday already? Woohoo! All right, heading for another weekend party. Party.